Alright, this is a lesson on combining your minor pentatonic and your Dorian scales. It's going to sound a little Santana-y or fusion-y with what we're going to be doing here. First thing we're going to do, just review the minor pentatonic scale in A. We have on the 6th string we have the 5th and 8th frets. On the 5th string we've got the 5th and 7th. On the 4th string we've got the 5th and 7th. On the 3rd string we've got the 5th and 7th. On the 2nd string, 5th and 8th, and same thing on the 1st string, 5th and 8th. So that's your minor pentatonic scale. Alright, that's probably usually the first scale most people learn when they're learning how to solo, especially in rock or blues. Now for a Dorian scale in that position, we're using all the same notes, but we're adding the major 2nd and major 6th of the scale here, which are going to be B and F sharp. So what we have here, we have 5, 7, and 8 on the 6th string. This note here is the 2nd of the scale. And then we've got 5 and 7 on the 5th string. And then we've got 4. This is the 6th note of the scale, major 6. And then 5, 7. And then we've got 4, 5, 7 on the 3rd string. This note here is also, that's the 2nd. That's the same as this note here, just an octave higher. So 4, 5. And then we've got 5, 7, 8 on the 2nd string. This note here is F sharp. That's the 6th of the scale. Same as this note here on the 4th fret, 4th string. And then on the 1st string we've got 5, 7, 8. This note here being the 2nd, just like here on the 6th string and here on the 3rd string. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to take a couple simple minor pentatonic ideas and we're going to flesh them out a little bit more with the notes that make it kind of a Dorian flavor. The deal with the mode is that modes are not just scale fingerings. A mode is really a tool to get at a specific sound. The best way to look at it is if we have a chord that is static, like a chord progression where it's just like A minor, we have that going, we're really playing that real hard, really emphasizing that. What we're doing there is we're really nailing down the notes that make a Dorian sound. If I had that A minor and I played a regular minor scale, right, so that was very minor, natural minor or Aeolian mode. I can take that last lick. Alright, I just nailed the one note that's different between the Dorian and the Aeolian, which is I'm playing the 6th fret or the F sharp on the 2nd string. Alright, those are two sounds. If we wanted to over that A minor, you know, I could play a harmonic minor. Alright, that's a different flavor or a different sound. I could play a melodic minor. These are all different sounds. They're just different tools to use. That's usually people look at modes and they go, okay, well, you know, A Dorian is the 2nd mode of G major, so over that A minor chord, I'm just going to play G major. And the problem with that is that if you're really playing G major, right, that doesn't sound very Dorian or minor-y. That sounds major to me. And I'm using all the same notes that I was using. Alright, can you hear the difference? One of them sounded minor, one of them sounded major in tonality. All the same pitches, but what I'm doing is I'm considering one note or the other the root. In the case of the G major, I'm considering that. And I'm also playing a lot of chord tones. You know, I know my arpeggios real well to the point where I can use the notes that make up that G chord as target notes. And take the notes in between them and use them to kind of dress things up. But you know, if I'm really heavily weighing those chord tones, what's happening is that we're really getting a major sound out of everything. We're not getting minor. Whereas if I was treating this like A minor, right, I'm really getting a full minor sound out of it. So I guess the first half of this lesson is that you really want to treat every mode like it's its own tool. You know, you don't want to get into the whole, oh, well, I can play the parent major scale over that chord and it's going to sound like A Dorian, because it's not, because you're not going to play it the same way. This is in internet forums and just everywhere I run into people discussing modes. They tend to have a big issue with this. You know, there's all these different ways of teaching it, and people, very learned players, very good players, all having different ways of looking at things will get in very heated conversations. So, you know, keep that in mind. This is the way I look at it. It seems to be kind of practical. There's going to be other things that we're going to be doing with this in order to get as many sounds out of this mode as we can. This first lesson here is really just about getting you playing some licks kind of in a blues rock style, but adding in the Dorian flavor.